Again, I'm Dr. Ajay Shah. We are doing a happiness workshop. This is segment number 3. If you have not watched segment 1 and 2, please watch segment 1 and 2 on YouTube, and we will start with segment number 3. So let's cover some definitions. Happiness by Merriam-Webster Dictionary is described as a state of well-being and contentment. State of well-being and contentment. Happiness is also described as joy. It's also defined as a pleasurable or satisfying experience. And matter of fact, it's very interesting that root word of happiness is hap, H-A-P-P. And actually the meaning of hap is luck. Pretty ironic, pretty interesting that the root word of happiness actually says luck. Hap means luck. So even though many of us think at times that we have to be lucky to be happy, but I'm going to prove it to you by the end of this seminar that you can do a lot of things to be happy. Obviously, everybody needs a good luck. I don't believe in luck in general in my life, but again, you can do a lot of other things. And I don't believe that you have to be lucky to be happy. You can be happy by doing certain things, which we'll talk about. There's a great Greek definition. I like this Greek definition, the wise people from 2,500 years ago, that Greeks define happiness as a joy. So joy that we feel has a meaning and which makes us grow towards our maximum potential and is long term. Very comprehensive definition, very inclusive definition. A lot of the positive psychology actually has been derived by dissecting this definition. So again, this is the Greek definition. And in Greek time, this was defined as a eudaimonia, a big word, eudaimonia. Eudaimonia essentially translates as a good spirit. So when you have a time, look up the word eudaimonia on YouTube and watch the video on that. Look up the definition, read about it. Eudaimonia is a very important word. In my opinion, that essentially describes what we all should be, more than just the word happiness. There's another happiness is that when events happen to our expectations. So when events happen to our expectations, we are happy. And again, that depends upon what our expectations are. To give you an example, when a rain happens, for a farmer in India, that's a great thing. He or she would be very happy. So again, when the rain happens in an Indian farm, farmer is very happy. Versus a vacationer in Italy going for a great vacation in Rome, and rain starts happening, he or she will be unhappy. So again, it's the same rain, but what our expectations were that makes us happy or unhappy. That brings us to one of the important quote by Blaise Pascal, that everyone without exception is searching for happiness. And that includes you, that includes me, that includes all of us. Everyone without exception is searching for happiness. So again, this brings to me an important question, that where does the final why question end? And I'll start with a small story. There was a fisherman resting on a beach, on an ocean, on a beach, and there was a CEO of a big company passing by. And CEO asked the fisherman, why are you just sitting on this beach? You should be going and fishing. So fisherman says, why? CEO says, if you go fish, if you catch a lot of fish, maybe you can buy a bigger boat and you can be rich. And CEO says, why? Fisherman says, why? The CEO says, if you become rich, maybe you can start your own small company. And one day you can have many employees. And fisherman says, why? The CEO says, then maybe you can have a big house, marry a great girl. And the fisherman says, why? The CEO says, well, then you'll be happy. The fisherman says, I'm happy already. Why would I go through the 10 steps you are asking me to go to be happy? So again, every time all why questions are asked, they end with happiness. So again, why do you want to get good grades in high school, to go to a good college? Why do you want to go to good college? Because you want to have a good income. Why you want to have a good income? Because you want to have a good living and a good life partner. But why do you want to have those? Because you want to be happy. So again, all why questions and in happiness. So instead of going through 100 steps in life, if you be happy without going through stress steps, that's the way it starts. So again, I always have said happy first, and then everything else can follow. And happiness can be a immediate, immediate thing happen. Like right now, while you're watching this thing, you can decide to be happy and then overcome all your struggles as it goes, but happy first. So is happiness a right term? Happiness, in my opinion, is well described term. At the same time, is an incomplete term. Incomplete term. The better definition is well-being, because happiness can be transient. For example, if I go for a walk in the nature, I can be happy for 1 hour, but my week could be very unhappy. So happiness is a very transient term. So happiness, in my opinion, is an incomplete term, and we'll talk about that. So well-being is a better term. Well-being is a long-term state. Well-being is a long-term state, and we all should have well-being, not just happiness. There's another term called flourishing. Happiness, in my opinion, is a very short-term thing, while flourishing is a long-term thing. It essentially is a journey. So when we are happy, our goal is to be happier. And that's where the flourishing concept comes in. The flourishing concept was given by Martin Seligman again. He has written a book on flourishing, great book. We all should read that. I've read that book. So again, flourishing is another concept. So goal for us is a long-lasting happiness, hopefully lifelong happiness with some ups and downs, obviously, and well-being and flourishing. So again, people ask me that why you want to be physically healthy, why you want to be mentally healthy, why you want to be spiritually healthy. I always say why you want to be happy, because happiness brings better physical health. People who are happy live long, they have less chronic disease, they exercise more, they sleep better, and they are in better physical health. If you are happy, they have better mental health, less depression, less anxiety, less post-traumatic disorder. People who are happy, they also have more material success. People who are happy, they typically have a more income. They're happy at their workplace. Again, happy people live longer. Happy people have better relationship. They have a better relationship with their life partner, their spouse, their kids, their parents, their friends. They sleep better. They are more creative. They're more productive. They have a better leadership skills. So happy people are better leaders, and they actually contribute more to society. They contribute more to society. Happy people have a lower healthcare cost. Happy people donate more. Happy people are better citizens. Happy people actually create more trusting society. Happy society typically have less crime. It's better for democracy. Happy people typically are kinder people. Happy people have more job satisfaction. They actually have more money. And even for corporations, where employees are happy, they have more corporate success. They have higher stock price. Their employees are actually more creative. And Google Plus is a great example. People happy at work take their corporation very high. So again, every corporation now is thinking how to make their employee happy. So again, why to be happy? Many, many reasons. When we talk about happiness, people say, what is the opposite of happiness? In my opinion, opposite of happiness is not unhappy. People actually say that unhappy is the term, but in my opinion, unhappiness is not the opposite of happiness. It's actually apathy or apathy. Apathy, because many times unhappiness could be a productive, constructive thing to do. When you are unhappy at work, you may change your job, you may get a new skill, and you go towards happiness. So unhappiness not necessarily a very bad thing. In my opinion, apathy is the worst scenario. So again, opposite of happiness is not unhappy in my opinion, it's apathy. People who develop apathy, uh, indifference, or no sensitivity or no any kind of action are the people who can lead to many physical and mental illness. So definitely apathy is the worst thing to go through. So this brings to a interesting slide. I searched word happiness on Google, and there were about billion entries on the word happiness. 1 billion entries. So you can imagine how many things you can search for on word happiness. And then I searched for the books on happiness, and there are millions of books on happiness. Some of them are as old as 3,000 to 2,000 years old though. So this brings to conclusion of our uh, next segment. This segment, let's end with some reflection. So how happy, again, one more time, are you on a scale of 1 to 5? How happy are you? What things make you happy? What are your reasons to be unhappy? And when was the last time you felt that you had apathy towards life? We all have gone through that. I've gone through apathy many times in my life. Sometimes it's in days, sometimes it's in hours, sometimes it's in weeks. So when was the last time you felt apathy to life? Obviously, we need to come out of that apathetic stage. So we should never have apathy to anything. So this concludes our current segment. Again, there are 20 segments in this seminar. This is like a workshop. If you are watching on YouTube, uh, make sure you follow the sequence. We are on Twitter. We are also on Instagram. So please look us up. Invite your friends to like our page, like our social media platforms. Thank you.